Windows. Windows is the most famous operating system on Earth, and it didn't even start as a full OS. Back in 1985, Microsoft released Windows 1.0 as just a colorful skin for MS-DOS. It looked blocky, slow, and limited, but it planted the seed. Over the years, Windows evolved into the powerhouse we know today, with legendary versions like Windows 95, XP, 7, and now Windows 11. Why does it dominate? Flexibility. Windows can run on almost any laptop or PC brand. Gamers love it for its performance and DirectX support. Office workers depend on it for Microsoft Office, and developers can use it for coding. But this dominance comes at a price. Windows is infamous for forced updates, random bugs, and the dreaded blue screen of death, which has haunted users since day one. It's also the biggest target for hackers and viruses, simply because everyone uses it. Windows is the definition of powerful but frustrating. It's the operating system you can't live without, but sometimes wish you could. macOS. macOS, launched in 2001, is Apple's answer to Windows. Unlike Microsoft, Apple doesn't share its system with anyone. macOS only runs on Macs, MacBooks, iMacs, and Mac Studios. This tight control is Apple's greatest strength. The hardware and software are perfectly designed for each other, which makes macOS smooth, stable, and nearly crash-proof. Creative professionals, video editors, designers, and musicians swear by it. Apps like Final Cut Pro and Logic Pro are industry favorites, and if you own an iPhone or iPad, everything syncs effortlessly. Texts, files, even phone calls. But macOS also comes with big downsides. First, the price tag. If you want macOS, you have to buy Apple hardware, and Apple never plays cheap. Second, gaming is basically non-existent. Without DirectX or high-end GPUs, Macs are terrible for serious gaming. Third, certain professional apps only exist on Windows. So macOS is polished, reliable, and great for creative work. But unless you're already in Apple's world, the cost and limits can be deal-breakers. Linux. Linux isn't just one system, it's a family. Born in 1991 by Linus Torvalds, Linux was built to be free and open source, meaning anyone can use it, change it, or build their own version. That's why there are countless distros like Ubuntu, Fedora, and Debian. Some are designed for everyday users, others power servers, and some run on tiny, embedded devices. What makes Linux special is its efficiency and security. It can run on an old, dusty computer or a massive NASA supercomputer. It's the go-to choice for programmers, cybersecurity experts, and web servers. Google, Facebook, and even NASA rely heavily on Linux. But here's the catch. Linux is not beginner-friendly. Many versions use command-line controls instead of easy menus, which can scare off new users. Plus, most mainstream apps and games are built for Windows or macOS, meaning you often need workarounds. Linux is the system for tinkerers, experts, and rebels who want freedom from big corporations. But for the average person, it feels like learning a whole new language. Chrome OS. Google introduced Chrome OS in 2011 with one idea. What if your computer was basically just a web browser? That's exactly what Chrome OS is, a lightweight, internet-first operating system. It comes preloaded on Chromebooks, which are cheap, fast, and especially popular in schools. Chrome OS boots in seconds, updates quietly in the background, and rarely crashes. It's incredibly secure since most of your files live in Google's cloud, not your device. On top of that, you can install Android apps from the Google Play Store, giving it more versatility than people expect. But Chrome OS has limits. Without Wi-Fi, it feels almost useless. Heavy-duty tasks like video editing, Photoshop, or high-end gaming are nearly impossible unless you use cloud services like GeForce Now, which themselves need blazing internet. And multitasking? Don't expect to run demanding apps side by side. Chrome OS is perfect if you live online, streaming, browsing, writing documents, but it crumbles when pushed outside that bubble. Android. Android is the most popular mobile operating system on the planet, powering billions of smartphones. Created by Google, Android runs on brands like Samsung, OnePlus, and Xiaomi. Unlike Apple's walled garden, Android is open source, which means manufacturers and users can customize almost every detail. Themes, widgets, launchers, your phone can look and behave exactly how you want. The Google Play Store offers millions of apps and games, and Android devices come in every price range, from budget phones under $200 to luxury flagships packed with insane cameras and power. But Android's strength is also its weakness. Because so many companies make Android phones, not all devices get regular updates. Some phones stop getting security patches within 2 years, leaving users exposed. Bloatware is another problem. Manufacturers pre-install useless apps that slow down performance. And while Android can be powerful, it often feels less optimized than iOS, with occasional lag or crashes. Android is freedom at its best and chaos at its worst. It gives you options Apple never will, but not every option is great. iOS, released by Apple in 2007 alongside the first iPhone, is the complete opposite of Android. Apple controls every aspect, hardware and software, creating an ecosystem that feels seamless. iPhones get years of software updates, so even a 5-year-old iPhone still runs smoothly. The App Store is curated and secure, making it the first stop for developers launching new apps. Apple's ecosystem is where iOS shines. Your iPhone talks to your iPad, Mac, Apple Watch, and even AirPods effortlessly. For many people, that seamless experience is addictive. But iOS comes with handcuffs. You can't install apps outside the App Store. Customization is limited compared to Android. Transferring files without Apple's system is a nightmare. And of course, Apple charges premium prices while reusing designs year after year. iOS is like living in a luxury hotel. Beautiful, safe, and efficient, but you live by the hotel's rules. Unix. Before Windows, macOS, or Linux, there was Unix. Created in the late 1960s at AT&T's Bell Labs, Unix was one of the first operating systems built for multitasking and multiple users at once. It wasn't designed for casual home use, it was made for servers, science labs, and corporations that needed raw computing power. Unix became the blueprint for nearly every modern OS. macOS, Linux, and even parts of iOS all trace their roots back to Unix. That's why it's often called the grandfather of modern computing. But here's the thing, Unix is expensive. Licensing can cost thousands of dollars per user, which makes it impractical for most people. Instead, you'll find it behind the scenes in critical systems, banking, scientific research, even weather forecasting at the National Weather Service. Unix isn't flashy, and you'll probably never touch it directly, but without it, today's tech world wouldn't exist. BSD. BSD, short for Berkeley Software Distribution, spun off from Unix in the 1970s at the University of California, Berkeley. Unlike commercial systems, BSD was open for research and development, which gave it unique strength. BSD isn't common on personal laptops, but it powers some surprising platforms. The PlayStation 4 and 5 both run on BSD-based systems. Netflix uses BSD to deliver your shows and movies worldwide. Firewalls like pfSense rely on BSD stability to protect networks. Why BSD? Efficiency and rock-solid reliability. It can handle massive workloads without breaking a sweat. Versions like FreeBSD, OpenBSD, and NetBSD each specialize in different areas from security to portability. The downside is that BSD never built a big consumer following. It's mainly used by experts, not casual users. But behind the scenes, BSD quietly powers a huge chunk of the internet and gaming industry without most people ever realizing it.